This is the Jack Murphy Podcast. Here's your host, Jack Murphy.
Never mess around with a married woman.
I agree 100% because you don't know how nuts the husband can be.
Or in which branch of the military he's in.
By the way, I feel lucky to be alive today, John, because yesterday, you know, the heat index is out of control. It's like 102, and they were saying it feels like it's 110. And then about 4:30 yesterday, both the television and the phone started doing those emergency alert things. You know, watch out for severe hail and high winds and possible tornadoes and blah, 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 blah. And so people that were concerned about me, they text you, call you, and go, hey, are you okay up there? And I go, well, yeah, so far, we're getting the warnings and stuff, but everything's okay. And then they say, well, do you have a basement? And I went, no, I don't have a basement. Well, get in a closet. And I said, look, I'm not going out in the closet. I'm not going to die in a closet with 3 dogs.
No, you are Jack Murphy. You are out of the closet.
And they said, okay, Rambo. So I said, I'm not Rambo, but I'm not going to go hide in the closet. So
I'm going to cancel my iPhone because the only thing I used it for was to get the daily forecast, and I can get that from you.
Yeah,
every day. You're always bitching about the weather. That's all you do.
I've got it for you every day. So tell us more about this experience with the was he Marine Corps or a Navy SEAL? What was he?
I don't want to talk.
Okay, all right. But he thought you were messing around.
It was a friend of mine who was messing around with a married woman, and the husband somehow found out and confronted my friend when he was on location.
They will do it. He was also a radio personality.
May or may not have been.
Radio personality, I'll be honest, radio personalities are known for their low morals. And
I'm not a radio personality anymore.
Not anymore. You've changed. But a lot of them are real low lifes, and there's a lot of sexual activity that shouldn't be happening around radio stations.
Well, Quandra, my next-door neighbor, she's got 5 kids, and from 5 baby daddies. Right. And, she's got the pit bull, and she's got it going on. Well, she just broke up with her baby daddy. And
poor
I know.
Quandra. Is she down?
No, she's dating a married guy now.
Okay.
And we started talking, and I was like,
I hope the married man's wife isn't in the military.
Well, that's what I said. I was like, you hope his wife don't come over. Girl, you come out here right now, I'm going to get you, tell you something.
Now, how do you get into these conversations with Quandra?
I was getting my garbage can from the road,
right?
And she flagged me down. She goes, "Did you see I got me a new car?" And I said, "Hey, well, look at you. Where'd you get that?" Because I know she don't work. I was like, "Did your baby daddy buy that for you?" She goes, "We broke up, but John, I'm in love with a married man. What am I going to do? What I'm going to do?" So we started talking.
That's the way my neighborhood conversations usually start. Taking the garbage out or whatever. Everybody's taking their cans out. And you go, hey, how you doing, Kane? Or whatever. And you have a little conversation. Well, you know what? We need to get Quandra on the podcast. She sounds like she'd be a lot of fun.
Quandra's great, and she don't hold back. She's a good neighbor, and I'm lucky to have her living next door to me. And that married man is lucky to be having an affair with her.
I would like to have her on.
I'll make it happen.
I bet she could tell us some really, really interesting stories. I got a bunch of stuff. I don't know what to go to first. I've got some audio that I'd like to play. And, we're working on our system here, folks. We're working with really the best piece of software, the best platform in the industry to produce our podcast. We really are, but it's complicated. And I'm having to learn it. And
that's the problem. The software is only as good as Jack Murphy makes it.
But you got to admit, I've made some significant progress here in the last couple of weeks on the editing and everything, so I'm pretty happy with it. But bringing in other sources is still a bit complicated for me. It's a little over my head, but we're getting there. I've got some great people that are helping me. John's helping me. My friend John Carter. My friend Kelly's helping me. My friend Josh Anderson's helping. I got a lot of helpers.
We're going to look back on this podcast and say how rudimentary it was.
It was. You're right.
Once we get big and famous, right now we're still in the learning phase.
But I have to tell you, I flip through the channels. I like to see what some days when something happens in the news, I'll flip over to a channel that I don't watch just to see how they're spinning it, whether it's MSNBC or CNN or whatever. And sometimes I turn on those panels that they have at night, and they just allow people to come on there and say anything, whether it has any truth to it at all, and no one challenges them whatsoever. It was this black woman, and she's big. She's like 400 pounds, and she's in a room of black women, and she's acting like she's a doctor, and clearly she wasn't. And she goes, those diets don't work the same for us black women as they do white women. We can eat the same amount of calories, eat the healthy food, do the exercise, and we don't lose any weight.
And our pants, we still wear pants that are too tight.
It's racist, and she blamed it on racism. She said it's the stress of racism that makes them gain weight. And I'm thinking, where's Dr. Gupta?
Yeah,
Why isn't he out here?
I want an excuse. How come they always get great excuses for everything, but we're not allowed to have an excuse?
We have no excuses. But they say it and expect people to just, buy it and believe it.
And a lot of people still do. People watch that. We think that people pay attention to news. They don't pay attention to anything but the Kardashians, and they still watch that mainstream garbage. Yeah. And that includes Fox News.
Just sheep. Yeah, exactly right. I question everything I see on
everything. I question, Al.
I'll get into this press conference I saw with Pete, with all the people from the Defense Department and the press. It gets me so angry. Like last night, CBS has done the same thing, John. They've got rid of the anchors they had. They've got new ones. And it's two guys. I have no clue who they are, but the minute you see them, they have that swarmy, better-than-thou liberal look.
I've seen clips.
You know the look I'm talking about.
Right.
And
I'm looking at it right now, you progressive.
The first story is... again, today at The Hague, President Trump claimed the attacks on the Iranian nuclear facility did damage, but that's being disputed by many. I mean, it was just like instant hatred and
now, would you rather them be state TV? Would you rather them just be carrying the flag for Trump?
Here's the thing. The only negative evidence about this attack was a leak from the Pentagon. So, number one, that's illegal. A leak from the Pentagon on a preliminary report. And they've taken that and blown it into the whole thing was a failure. When they don't
What did the leak say? What was the negative?
The leak said that it put the Iranians years behind, but it didn't destroy the program completely. But it was not based on anybody going in there and looking. Mm-hmm. At all.
Conjecture, just somebody watching TV and making up their own.
Yeah, and then he tells this story. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, he tells this story. This bomb that they used to do this with, they have been developing this bomb just for this attack for 19 years. When the Iranians started building this nuclear facility in this mountain.
You would think they could do it a lot faster than that.
Well,
I'm really not impressed. 19 years is a long time to make a bomb.
It's a pretty damn impressive bomb.
Yeah, but if you and I put our noggins together, we don't know anything about bomb making. We can come up with something in less than 19 years.
I don't think we would.
I bet I could do it in 17 years.
I don't think so. Anyway, there's another piece of audio that tickled me yesterday. So there's a hearing. Sometimes they have these hearings, John, in the Congress and the Senate, and as a congressman or a senator, you're just allowed to get up and speak on whatever you want to speak about. You have time, right? You get up. And what you're trying to do is get on the record so that later you can, if you're running for office, you can go, my record supports the fact that I was against Trump the entire time or I was for Trump, whatever it is. So this... Again, I don't know who she was, but that swarmy, better-than-thou look of a liberal she had, and she's up there, and she's saying there's a congressman out there that she's having a exchange with, and she goes, well, maybe you'd like to see this poll done from some college or university I had never heard of. I guarantee you haven't ever heard of. She goes, just look at how terrible Trump is doing. They hate him. His poll numbers are falling. His policy numbers are terrible.
Meanwhile, he has historic approval numbers.
Yeah, and so the congressman that's out there, he goes, point of, what do they say, point of order? And she goes,
Contention?
He goes, point of order? And she goes, yeah. He goes, if you add up all the percentages on there, it's 110%. Did you mean to do that, or was that a mistake? And the lady just gives him this look like, she goes, this is the poll that was provided to us by the university. Maybe you should read some of the other polls about how poorly he's failing. And the guy goes, all right, I yield my time back.
You know, you've heard of that thing on TikTok, girl math?
Yeah.
It's just girl math.
It's a fake poll. Had you ever heard of that, Collins?
No, I hadn't heard of that, but I know how women can crunch numbers to make things look a certain way.
Oh, my goodness. It was so funny. I was just laughing. Well, somebody passed away that has a connection to my hometown. John, I thought I'd bring that up this morning.
Cedartown, Georgia?
Paul Winchell, who was famous for doing the voice of Tigger in Winnie the Pooh, passed away at age 82. But the actual voice of Winnie the Pooh, do you know who that was?
Was that June Lockhart?
No, it was a man, first of all. Come on. Winnie the Pooh.
I never watched Winnie the Pooh. I don't watch cartoons. I never have.
Winnie the Pooh, all those movies and all. You never watched Winnie the Pooh one time?
I had a strange childhood. I didn't like cartoons. I just watched regular TV shows.
Well, the guy that did the voice of Winnie the Pooh was from Cedartown. He ran away from home as a child, joined the circus, went to California, wound up becoming a big movie star, soundstage star, and he used to come back and visit. When I first got into radio, he came for a visit, and it was like a rock star, of course, when he came to town. And he was an art collector, and early in his career, he never made a whole lot of money, but he started collecting art. And it turned out that this art he bought, this art collection, was worth millions.
Oh, he lucked out, huh?
Well, he just had a good eye for art. But anyway.
He was the voice of Tigger or the voice of Winnie the Pooh?
He was the voice of Winnie the Pooh.
Oh. Well, who was Tigger?
The guy I just mentioned, Paul Winchell.
They were both from your hometown?
No. Paul Winchell died. Just the fact that Winnie the Pooh, the guy, was from my home.
So in your story, Paul Winchell gets a mention, but then you go on his whole long story about how you
the
met
guy
the guy.
Winnie the Pooh was the star. Tigger was just a minor player. You know,
right? Pooh was the man.
Right. So I guess you've heard that Jeff Bezos and that whore Lauren Sanchez.
Why is he doing this?
He must have one heck of a prenup. Is all I can say. He's already given away. $150 billion to that.
He gave away $35 billion to McKinsey, which I thought was fair.
That's all?
Well, I thought that was fair because it was about 13% of his net wealth. Now, a lot of women will say, she could have got half. He'd have never done it without her help. You know, I heard that too when I go through a divorce. She deserves half. She was supportive.
I don't remember more than that. But
she got $35 billion, which is nothing to sneeze at, which it was 13% of his net wealth at the time.
Listen, if I could get $30 billion, I'd marry him. There's no doubt about that. But this Sanchez, talk about a guy who's really changed his look. He used to look like such a nerd.
Kind of a dorkosaurus.
Yeah, really dorky nerd guy when he first started Amazon. Now he's kind of buff and he dresses different and everything. But she must really put it on him. Because
I don't understand that. I don't think I could ever be like Jeff Bezos, and I'll tell you why. Because once I earned my first $10 million, I would probably just stop.
I could care less. Yeah. Once I got a number. If I ever got to that number, you'd never see me again.
Yeah, I mean, you want to do well, and I guess now he's wanting to be the first trillionaire. That's the word.
Elon Musk is going to be the one that's the first trillionaire, probably.
But I would never make it that far. I'd be like, wow, I got $500 million. I'm just going to live on the beach.
I got $50 billion. I'm not sleeping on the floor of the factory at the SpaceX place.
Yeah, look at us pretending like we know what we'd do if we had $500 million, as if we have any marketable skill. Well, once this podcast takes off.
I'm going to be running the streets. I'm going to be like Kid Rock. I'm going to head out west.
We're going to run this be like cardio. But I don't know why he's getting married. I mean, listen, you know as well as me, every guy knows this. If you had billions and billions of dollars, what's the one thing you'd do? You'd have chicks
flocking to you like crazy.
Why would he marry her? And she's
don't know.
middle-aged, and she doesn't even look that good.
And she just looks like she's going to turn on him.
Yeah, and you're right. He's probably got an ironclad prenup.
Yeah.
He might give her amounts to be a nickel in his mind, but I don't even know what I'd waste the time.
She just looks like the type that's going to turn on. Anyway, they're having a big wedding in Italy, in Naples, and they've rented everything there. And everybody in Naples is pissed off about it because of their commandeering the whole place. And people have been making fun of their wedding invitation. It's been posted online, and of course
he's a complete simp for her too.
And they do. Please don't buy us any gifts. Who's going to buy you a gift? What do you buy for the second richest guy, in the world? They want you to make a donation to, save the one-armed pigeon.
Why don't they make a donation?
Yeah,
in my
exactly.
Name,
Why do I
got to
make
take
a
the
donation?
weekend off and come to your stupid wedding? You make a donation in my name.
I got to fly to Naples and try to book a room to come to your wedding, and you want me to make a donation to your stupid
You got me staying
charity?
at the friggin' Ramada up in here, and you want me to make a donation to save the whales.
Yeah, you make the donation. I'll come to the wedding.
I just don't know why he's getting married. I don't know why he would even do that, waste his time. There's nothing in it for you.
So I wanted today, well, I'll tell you what, we'll talk about this real quick, and we may still have a chance to get to AC/DC. If not, we'll push that to tomorrow. We have found out, John, who was in charge of the auto pen.
Now, the auto pen, to recap for our 155 subscribers,
Right.
that was the pen that signed a lot of legislation.
And pardons.
And the 95 pardons.
And 95 is more than that. And executive orders and orders that sent billions of dollars here, there, and everywhere else.
And it's an actual mechanical thing. Looks like it was made with an erector set.
Right.
There's a pen that sits down on it, and it signs the signature of the president.
So Neera Tanden, a former top aide for Biden, told Congress she had direct authorization to direct auto pen signatures for the president. But listen to this. In testimony, they had closed-door testimony, but it's leaked out. She doesn't know who gave the final order.
This is the person that's been running our country for 4 years.
Yeah.
We know that's the question. We want to know who was in charge.
Well, I'll tell you what, that Lindy Lee, who was real big in the Democratic Party, she said that Hunter Biden and Jill were pretty much running everything.
I've heard that too.
And Jill's work husband, who is refusing to testify before Congress. Now, I hope they give him the same treatment they gave Steve Bannon. Remember Steve Bannon, the guy that was in the first Trump administration? I never liked him, but Bannon refused to answer their subpoena, and he went to prison for a year or something. So I hope this guy gets the same treatment that Bannon did. But she said that she had limited interaction with Biden. She said that there was an approval process, and they would just tell her to sign stuff. And so
nice.
She'd whip out the auto pen. Hey, by the way, do you know how far back the auto pen goes?
George Washington.
No, Thomas Jefferson, I think it is. You're close, but I think it was Thomas Jefferson.
What were they signing into laws back then? You can only have 2 cattle per square acre. I mean, and why did they need? I thought they had feathers that they dipped in the ink.
Yeah, this thing had a bunch of feathers, so it could do a whole bunch of different documents at once. They didn't have copy machines. So if you wanted a signed document, you could, do one and it would do 10 or whatever. And
you mean like it would branch off?
So in other words, if you passed a new law and it needed to go to all 13 colonies, you could sign it once and it would make 13 signatures at once on the document.
Very interesting.
It was a manual type
We
thing.
tend to think they were stupid and they walked around with sewage all over the place and it was hot and dusty, but
a lot of
they
that's
were pretty
true.
smart.
A lot of that's true, but Jefferson, Franklin, some smart dudes. You wouldn't want to get in a debate with any of those people, that's for sure. Well, I guess we're not going to be able to have our AC/DC discussion today. I'd arranged some guests who are...
Oh, man, we can always have it tomorrow. There's always tomorrow, and that means that gives more people on the Internet time to subscribe. So tell your friends and neighbors to sign up.
We want to thank you for checking out the Jack Murphy Podcast. Now available anywhere you get a podcast, you're going to find us. Some of them have video. Some of them it's audio only. We don't care which way you do it. Just like it and subscribe and leave a comment. Leave a comment, negative, positive, whatever, and tell your friends And have a great day.
We're trying to get above 50 views today.
Yeah. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching the Jack Murphy Podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Go ahead, ring it. Get alerts when a new episode drops, and tell your friends about the Jack Murphy Podcast. But only the cool friends, please. Tune in next time for another episode of the Jack Murphy Podcast.